What's up, guys? Got a couple new knives today for testing and reviews. I want to do a review and a test on both of them. So I just figured I'd make a video and show you guys what the deal is with them. And before I start, I want to show this. I just got done touching up the edge on this knife. I did the edge retention test on it. This is the S110V knife, the RJ Martin Overkill. It's going back to MIG Angel tomorrow. Took me forever to get this edge polished like it is. S110V does not like to take a polish. It's so high in wear resistance that the stones, they almost don't even work. Past like 600 grit, I get no slurry, meaning it's removing no steel at all. It took me a long time to get it this polished. And even this polish, the edge is still super toothy. Like, you would not want to run your fingers up the edge because it just has all this bite to it. Anyway, I need to send this knife back to him tomorrow. MIG Angel's been super patient, super nice guy for letting me use this knife. Haven't really used it. I just tested it, then put it back in its pouch and kept it because he wanted me to send it back after the Christmas rush of USPS. But I want to thank you again for letting me experience this beautiful knife. It's something that I'll probably never get to experience again because RJ Martin is swamped with work. But anyway, I just figured I would show you the sharpness that it's coming back to you at. It is ridiculously sharp. Stupid sharp, as I like to call it. I mean, it's just screaming through the paper. There is no resistance whatsoever. So it's there, trust me. It's very, very grabby. But this is going to be back in its pouch along with the custom razzle and on its way back to you. It's a beautiful knife, and I'm happy to say I didn't lay a single scratch on it. I taped it up for everything I did with it, except for the testing. And it has the same beautiful luster that it had before. It is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. When they talk about functional art, this is what I consider functional art. I mean, it's just amazing. Anyway, thank you again, Miguel, for letting me use that. Really appreciate it. Disregard these are just here because it's on the pad. Today I got a screaming deal on two knives that I couldn't pass up. I guess first I'll just talk about this. This is a CRKT Shenanigan. I think it won Import Knife of the Year at Blade Show this past year, 2011. Not quite sure about that. I know it won some award, but this is the more expensive model. It's obviously a recurve flipper, aluminum handle, kind of this rubbery inlay right here. It's a Ken Onion collaboration, obviously, made by CRKT. This is the aluminum version. It's about 59 bucks, I'm pretty sure. They make a full polymer version or plastic version that is less than that, I think $39. But it has this nice, subtle, super subtle recurve, a very nice hollow grind that leads to a very acute cutting edge down there. So it should cut well. This is Acuto steel, Acuto. Supposed to lie somewhere in between 440C and 154 cm. That's one report I've had, and another report that I've read says that it should lie in between AUS 8 and 154 cm. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it probably 440C edge retention, maybe a little bit better. I would say possibly VG10, just a little bit worse than VG10, which VG10 is excellent to me. It's an awesome EDC steel. I'm going to carry this knife. I'm going to use it. I'm not going to baby it. And I'm going to test the steel out on the edge retention test. I've looked, and there are pretty much no edge retention tests for this steel, so it should be interesting. Overall, the build quality is actually really good. The only fault I can find with this knife is that the blade is just ever so slightly off center, and that is due to me tightening the pivot to take the blade play out. If I loosen the pivot, the blade is centered, but I like I like knives to have no blade play, and I am very pleased to say that this knife now has 0 blade play. None. None in the up and down position, or none in the vertical, none in the horizontal. None. And I'm a stickler for blade play. And the blade still flies out with a flipper. I mean, it's a really smooth knife. At first, I thought it was on bearings. It's so smooth. And it's a $59 knife. It's really light. I think it's like 4.5 ounces. I think I weighed it earlier. It rides really low in the pocket. This is not a review, just an overview. It should be a really good knife. Nice, sturdy construction. Very good ergonomics. I like the recurve. I like the hollow grind. I'm going to start getting into the more budget knives. Not because I don't think anybody can afford the stuff I review. It's just that it honestly kind of gets old reviewing nothing but really high-end, really expensive knives. And I'm sure I'm alienating some crowd. Maybe the younger people, maybe the people that just don't want to spend so much money on a knife. And there are just tons and tons and tons of good quality knives, well under $100. This is an example. CRKT I've steered away from for years and years and years. But this thing, I'm telling you, it's a good knife. And I think it's because Ken Onion kind of forced them to make a knife that met his standards. And I can go ahead and tell you, build quality is just as good as any Kershaw in this price range. All day long. I mean, there is absolutely 0 blade play. The knife is smooth as butter, and the flipper just works. It's a nice liner lock, kind of a thin liner lock, but again, we know we don't need any kind of super thick, beefy lock. It's about, let me bump up the ISO so you can see it. It's about at, I'd say 30% lockup, which is really good. No stick. Let me sling it out. Lockup still right at about 30-40%. Still no stick. Really good lock. Yeah, the liner lock is thin, but it's more than enough. I promise you, it is more than adequate for the uses that you're going to use it for, unless you go beat it up against a tree, use it as a throwing knife, baton with it, etc., which a knife is not meant to do, at least this kind of knife. It's going to hold up, and it should serve you well. Again, this is not my review. I just can't help but to praise it because, honestly, it surprised me. I'm going to gladly carry this thing and assess its performance. I'm looking forward to the Acuto steel. It may sound weird, but I'm kind of getting into the lower end steels right now also. I really enjoy sharpening, and honestly, with me doing my little touch-ups, I have my double stuffs on, or I use a coffee mug. Some people are going to take this the wrong way, but you really can't tell the difference in between a US 8A and S90V if all you're doing is continually touching the edge up. And in some cases, lower end steels will actually hold the razor edge longer than the high carbide steels. So honestly, if you're one of those guys that likes to keep a super fine razor edge on your knife, you're not going to tell a big difference in performance between kind of a lower end-ish steel like this Acuto and something super high end like ZDP or S90V. I like to keep my knives extra sharp, so I'm touching them up about as often with any steel. It's only when I'm doing really long extended cutting sessions that you notice a big difference in performance. So a steel like this, VG10 154 cm, I'm starting to get back into them because they offer me a razor edge, and it's very, 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 very easy to bring it back. And what's not to love about that? So it's not so much that I'm shying away from the high-end stuff. I'm just kind of experimenting and changing it up a little bit, and that's fine for me. Variety is the spice of life, and this is a little bit of variety without breaking the bank, and I love it, honestly. I'm probably going to get a second one because I really do like this knife. Nice size, really nice size, nice blade. Just everything about it is nice. About the same size as a paramilitary too, just to give you a size reference there. Almost the exact same size. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see a review of this. I'm sure a lot of you guys will appreciate a review of the kind of more affordable knives, which I really enjoy. I like this thing a lot. I really do. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling about this. Next knife on the chopping block is Microtech Socom Elite in Duratech 20CV, which is a steel that I have not tested yet. 20CV, there you go. 20CV composition-wise is very close to M390, but in actual everyday use, I've heard conflicting reports, like it's just a little bit better than S30V, sometimes worse than S30V, sometimes just as good as M390. I've heard wildly conflicting reports, so that's why I'm going to do my own rope test on it and see what I conclude. For the longest time, I haven't liked Microtech. It's just always struck me as mall ninja. The blade coatings, the automatic, it's just not my cup of tea. But this thing, honestly, is my cup of tea. I like this knife a lot. One thing I like about it is the huge blade and the nearly 1-to-1 blade to handle ratio. If you take away that glass breaker, you have almost the same amount of handle as you do blade. Really like that. This is the Manix 2 XL, which is a beast in its own right. If you compare cutting edge, you can see that the Microtech clearly wins in the cutting edge, and it also beats the Spyderco Military for cutting edge, which is a feat. Honestly, it's a pretty big feat. This is on the higher end scale. This is about $270. I didn't pay that, but we don't need to get into the details there. I get a discount at my local knife shop because I spend so much money there. But anyway, it's not important. This is grip tape in here, only tip down. You have super thick blade stock. I think that may be 5 mil right there, but they have a nice swedge on it, so it saves some weight. You have a nice flat grind that leads down to a fairly acute cutting edge. It's not super acute, but it's not super thick either. Absolutely zero blade play in this knife, which I'm happy to report. No vertical. Let me throw the ISO up again. Your lockup, this is about 60%. One thing I did notice is that this whole lock bar assembly is actually screwed into the knife. So if you wear out the lock, they can replace your lock without replacing the knife, which kind of seems unconventional, but I really do like it. I like that they don't have to replace the blade or anything like that to get your lock in tip-top shape again. But this is not a radiused lock tang. It's just beveled like this on a linear slope, which means that this lock should last almost indefinitely with regular use. The blade is nice and long, got a nice grind on it. Good grips in this grip and in the choked up grip. I really do like it. Again, this isn't a review, it's just to show you what's coming, but I really do like this knife. I got a glass breaker here. Just a neat knife. I'm excited to use it, excited to test it, excited to see what 20CV is really like. And if I didn't mention it, this is just a manual knife. No spring, no assisted anything. It's just all manual. And show you there. Perfectly centered blade. Perfect. And this doesn't have the proprietary screws that most Microtechs come with. This is just Torx, like I like it. So, really excited to test this one. Really excited. I don't know how 20CV performs, but it should be fairly good. Anyway, I'm going to be EDC in both of these knives for the next couple weeks, and I'm going to do a review on them if you guys want to see it. But I'm really excited about this one. This is a really good knife for the money. It really is. And that shows you how smooth it is. I have the pivot cranked way down so there's no blade play. But you can still easily just finger it. You can easily flip it out. It's a cool little knife. CRKT Shenanigan. I don't dig anything else by CRKT, but I think Ken Onion kind of put the boot to CRKT and made them build this one quality. So looking forward to seeing how that steel performs as well. Anyway, just kind of an update video. Don't even know what I'm going to call it, but thanks for watching, guys, and let me know if you're interested in these two in a review and a cut test. I may end up doing it anyway, but if nobody wants to see it, I may not, so I really don't know. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.